A new project. This is a car project I've been putting together kind of in my free time. Like this, what I'm looking at right here is photography from a car museum in Los Angeles, but I've kind of consistently gone to the car show. Looks like I go every 3 or 4 years, but like this is the Detroit Auto Show, North America Auto Show. This is from 2009, and then I have 2013, 16, and then 19. And then we also have the Detroit Grand Prix photographs. This is from 2014. And so we have all those to go through, and we're going to be selecting the best. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing this whole stream. Is we're going to try to get through looking through all the photos and finding out which ones we're going to edit. And then this one, if the computer doesn't blow up. This is medium format film, but it's from 2018, last September. And it's really high quality. It's an ISO of 50. And so it does look grainy here, but it's because it's the way it's shrunk down in the preview. It's actually really smooth and detailed. So it's essentially there's a ton of aliasing between each pixel, but once you look at it at actual size, it looks a lot better. And each one is about 200 megapixels. It's like 240. And then this is a multi-format project, so there is going to be we have the 3D. This is the 3D VR. That's me. But yeah, so we have VR. This is VR, 180-degree VR for the North America Auto Show, the Detroit Auto Show from 2019. I just took pictures for that this past January. And then we have the 3D versions, which is just for like 3D TVs. And I create a version of VR. Of VR films with just 3D footage, and then those VR videos have no head tracking. It's just like you're sitting in front of a movie theater or looking at a movie with the goggles on. But that's what these 3D photos are for. These VR photos, they'll be head tracking, so you can turn your head left and right and look all around. And same with this. And this is with head tracking, but this is at the Flint Institute of Art. This was the Golden Memories, and so it was like all these really old cars. And it was funny because these cars are like really old, but a lot of them look like the original owners had them, which was cool. But they were doing like funny things, like. But yeah, so like they have a whole bunch of Model Ts and everything, but these are also 3D photographs. So we're gonna get into that. Start the music over. So let's get back to work. So we're gonna start from the top. And so this is the LA Car Museum. I'm just going to be going through and finding the good stuff. This was like probably 2012 when I took these photos. So a lot of them I've been sitting on for a long time. And this mannequin here. It's kind of creepy. Creepy lady. But I think we'll keep it. You know, we're not going to keep that one. But it's been a while since I streamed. I was getting a lot of projects ready. Just like getting discs formatted and stuff. There's a lot of Project Aerospace that I had to do. I actually just got back to my house, not yesterday, but the day before. There was the Arctic blast, and it was, we had to rent a hotel room, and we stayed there, because our house currently, well, it kind of has heat, not really. It has a temporary furnace, but it couldn't keep up. So I went to the hotel for the past couple of days. And oh my goodness, I was like so productive. I thought I'd lose my mind though. I was getting like serious cabin fever. But I got a lot of work done. I created the preview videos for Project Aerospace. And yesterday I uploaded them all now that I'm back in the house. And I'm going to post a schedule on the LCD production schedule. But this Wednesday on Patreon, the first preview will come out. And then next Wednesday, it will come to the public on Project Aerospace on YouTube and everything. So this is very exciting, and it's nice because like I've done so much work on it, especially like the last 4 days, that the previews will carry over for a long time. They go till mid-May. So that gives me plenty of time to work on the other parts of Project Aerospace, which I'll be live streaming. And it's the video component. The previews are just the photography. I gotta get the Pit Boys. And so, what else happened? My birthday was yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I went to Crackle Barrel. And I ordered. I'm vegetarian and I can't eat gluten or anything. And I used to love like the pancakes, the buttermilk pancakes, or the French toast, but now I can't eat that anymore. So I usually get eggs and hash brown casserole, and they have this country plate which you get 4 sides, and so I get that and eggs, which I hate eggs, but I eat them anyway because they're good for you and everything. But so I was like, you know what, this is my birthday. I'm gonna do what I want. I do what I want. So I ordered 6 hash brown casseroles. Now it's not like a full meal. It's just if you order a hash brown casserole, it's a side. So I ordered 6 sides of the hash brown casserole, and it came on this huge plate all clumped together. And I was like, yes, my life is complete. I made it to 28, and now I can die happy and full, because that's really what matters. And so I usually order 4 sides and then 2 eggs, but so there is a limit. Yes, I can eat 6. Should I eat 6? No. I almost died. My stomach almost exploded, but it was worth it. So I ate Crackle Barrel for breakfast, and then my family was like, so what are we doing for, your birthday dinner? And I was like, nothing. I was full all day. I could only eat 1 meal, and I was like, you know what? Let's do dinner another day. But yeah, one of the gifts that came was, it's funny, I got a cane, not because I need a cane, but I wanted like this stool to take out with me when I go out, flying my drones and stuff, because it's getting to the point where some of the drone batteries are like, they're like 20-minute flight times, or there's 20-minute flight times, and then there's like 4 batteries, so you're flying for like 80 minutes. And so I put on my birthday this. It's a cane that has a chair. It folds out into a chair. And I got it. And it's hilarious because, one, it's a lot smaller than it looks in pictures. And it's mainly like where the seat is. But it works pretty well. I tried it, tested it out. And it's a really nice height. It's like the perfect chair. But can't wait to go out and film. I was going to go film some stuff tomorrow, but I can't. I am I'm taking my grandmother to she's getting her brain scanned, which there's nothing like, it's nothing bad, it's just a checkup. Here's the Ford GT. Then we have the Batmobile. And then this was one of the cars from the Bond movie. Not Tomorrow Never Dies. It was Pierce Brosnan, but it was the one where I should know this. I mean, it's gonna bother me that I don't. But it was the one where they were like harnessing the sun and not Die Another Day. You know what? I have to look this up. I have to because it's gonna bother me the whole. Oh no, it is Die Another Day. I was right. I thought that was an older one. Okay. But yeah, so this is going back up. Where is it? So yeah, so this is the Jaguar from Die Another Day. Has the rockets that come out in the Gatling gun. Like the whole plot of the movie was, they're gonna destroy everyone with a giant mirror satellite. Okay, so we're done with that. I'm going down. This is the Detroit car show from 2009. And they just changed the car show from being in the winter. It's usually in January. It opens up like 2 weeks before Martin Luther King Day to the press, and then on the weekend of Martin Luther King Day it's open to the public for like a week, and then it shuts down. And so I only go with the public. My mom was hired once to review cars, and so she got to go with to go and go review them and everything. But it wasn't like reviewing for a news agency. She was reviewing for the car companies, and but I just go with the public and take my pictures there. And it's nice because everyone's taking pictures and stuff, and it's funny because this last time that I went, I never quite noticed it before, I guess. But like, I like cars, and so I went to the car show, and I'm pushing my grandmother around, and it's funny because like everyone there is like just as much into cars as I was, and I was like, who would have thought that if you go to a convention where people like the same things, everyone's admiring kind of like the same thing, and it's like all these people have a common interest and stuff. And so that was cool. But it struck me. It was kind of like a lot of the conversations I overheard while I was walking around. Like when I went to look at this, the Supra came out, which is, it's a big deal. They haven't made the Supra for like, I think over 12 years. Or way longer than 12 years. And so I'm taking pictures of it's a Toyota Supra, and like there's these 3 guys, and one of them was like, you don't understand, this is an epic car, this is incredible, and the other guy was like, yeah, it is a good one. And then it was like they should have filmed him, and that would have been the perfect Toyota commercial, because like he was almost in tears and slobbering and stuff over the Supra. And the Supra is a good looking car. How they brought it back, I was really not surprised, but it looks like it's up there, especially with the interior and everything. The interior of the Supra looked phenomenal. So this is going kind of fast. We might be able to start editing eventually. I mean, like editing tonight. Hey, Bonus Big Heart. Nice to see you. Let's see. So it's funny because like this is the futuristic car. Saab. I like the FJ. This is the Toyota FJ, this orange one. But it's like an off-road vehicle. That's kind of like what it's geared for, like camping and all that stuff. But it is, like, I don't fit in it. Like, I'm 6 foot, and my legs are long, and I have like a short torso. But I don't know. I could never get comfortable in the driver's seat, because the way the dashboard between the wheel and the foot pedals is like my legs are constantly hitting it. And so I thought that was funny, because my first car that I drove like all the time was a Mini Cooper, and I fit fine in that. And it's like a tiny car, and I'm a huge person. Now we have our Lamborghinis. They were not at... This car show is from 2009. And Lamborghini hasn't been there in a while in the Detroit Auto Show. Okay, so we are done with 2009. Now we're going to 2013. There's a lot of photos here. I think I went through kind of like a spasdemonium phase with the camera. Like I took a lot of like close-up shots of each car. Oh man, and then this is the BRZ, or the it was a partnership with Toyota and Subaru. Yeah, it's called the FRS with Toyota. Well, no, with Scion. With Toyota. Toyota owns Scion, and so it's called. So in Europe, it's released under Toyota, but I forgot what Toyota calls it. And so it's made by Subaru and Toyota, and then for the American version, Scion, it was called the FRS. But they stopped producing that. But that car was awesome. It was like, it was kind of like a halfway Supra, I guess. But I think they were like disappointed that not a lot of people bought it, but it was just like they released it, and then people like me were like, oh my goodness, this, I have to save up to get this car. And so by the time, the younger folks like me would, be able to afford it, they already took it off the market. Like, what? It would have been awesome if it was all-wheel drive. Like if you bought the Subaru version, it would have been all-wheel drive, but it was two-wheel drive. No, it's rear wheel drive as well. And then we have the Dodge Viper. And a lot of these photos they're underexposed, and that was kind of on purpose. Some of them not to the degree that they were, but and then this is the Toyota FJ. I think this is the Corolla. Let's see. Oh, this is the Maseratis. And here's my favorite. It was funny, there were no German cars at the 2019 car show. But they did have this section of cars that were like souped up by this one company. And it was funny because like they did all these modifications to like the Mercedes-Benz G-Class, which is like, it's a new car, but it's made to look like kind of the old Land Rovers. And so they had that one all souped up, like raised and everything. And then they had souped up like these Lamborghinis, these Aston Martins. And then they had the 911, the Porsche 911, and it was just, it was like stock, and I was like, it was perfect, and I was like, that's funny. And then while I was taking pictures, it was funny because this guy and his girlfriend were walking around, and they stopped, and I was like, oh my goodness, look at that. Look at the Lamborghini, and the lady was like, what's this car? I like it. And it was the 911, and I kind of, I glanced at her, but I was going to tell her, I said, you have good taste. So I thought that was funny. Yeah, like you can really tell I like the 911. And then this year, when I went to the car show, I did take some film photos and took 48 pictures. I did have technical difficulties though. I got this. I went to Salvation Army like 4 years ago, and I bought this camera bag, and then it was like $2.50. So then I get home, I open the camera bag, and it's like, oh my goodness, there was like 3 flashes, and all this, gels. That's what photographers use to change the color of light. So it's like, imagine a plastic piece of translucent paper that it's like red, and so you put it in front of your light source, and then it makes the light red. But the reason why they're called gels is because they're supposed to be able to handle like a lot of light passing through, meaning like a lot of heat and stuff, so they won't catch on fire and everything. But so I had a lot of things like that, and so 2 of the flashes I couldn't get to work, but the 3rd one I was able to, and so I rigged it up so that it goes to have remote control car batteries, and they're big. They're like they have a discharge of, I think it's 20 C, and then 20 current, and the milliamp is like, it's 14 volts, but the milliamp is like 3,000 or so. And so they're big batteries, and so I have it wired to where it goes straight into the remote control car battery, and it's incredibly nice because I used to have a flash that was from Canon. It was the 580 EX2, but it was stolen. But the one bad thing about the EX2 was that it would go through batteries like crazy. Like you could take maybe 70 photos with the flash, and then the batteries would be dead. And so like when I worked on like event photography and there was this short period where I did art restoration photography for archival stuff, and I used my flash, and it was just like I would go out, before I would start work, and I would buy, from like Costco, those packs of batteries where it's like 50 batteries, and I would use almost all of them during the day. And going back to this used flash, I mean, like I said, my good flash was stolen, but so this used flash I have wired to my remote control car battery, and so like I can take as many pictures as I want, and the battery won't go dead. Like I will get tired of shooting, or I'll shoot the whole day, and it's like the battery didn't die. And then what's also nice is because it's such a high current with the battery, it's like you take the photo, and instantly the flash is recharged and ready to go. When you have it running on AA batteries, it's like you take your picture, and then the flash has to recharge and goes boop, and then you can take another picture, but there's like 5 seconds in between. With my special modifications, the flash just fires. Like, you can do almost every 1/8 of a second, you can take another photo. And so I tested it out, and it's worked on other things, but when I went to the car show this year, in 2019, for the first 20 photos, the flash worked, and then for whatever reason, it just stopped working, and I couldn't figure out why. Like, it just wouldn't turn on. And so I was like, that's weird. And so I put it away, and I had different lenses that I could use without the flash. My goal was to use an 80mm lens with 2.8, an aperture of 2.8. So that's a little bit darker to shoot in the car show. I mean, like, this looks all bright and everything, but it's kind of dark in there, but the reflections are so bright that it throws off the camera. So you have to really choose between, do you want the highlights to come out, or do you want to be kind of underexposed? And so I shoot slightly underexposed because I can get, the best of both worlds. But so an 80mm handheld with an aperture of 2.8 is difficult without the flash. And so I switched into a 50mm, and then with an aperture of 1.8. And so it was it let in a significantly more amount of light, but I just wasn't sure of how it's going to come out. Like, I'm nervous. So the first 20 photos that I know the flash worked with, I know are okay. But when I switched to the 50mm, like, the camera was suggesting that I take pictures at like 2/50th of a second, 500th of a second in like a dark room, and I'm like, are you sure? That doesn't seem right. So I did compromise and go to like 1/60th of a second, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure they're all going to be really underexposed for the film, which is okay for film because you can bring back a lot of the detail. Like with digital, if you shoot too underexposed, you can't. It's kind of like the data's lost. But it's better to shoot underexposed on digital than it is overexposed. If you shoot overexposed, you will get no information back if you try to darken it. The white point is, once you reach the white point in digital, there's nothing you can do to recover that. I believe this is Tesla before they got big. So we're getting close to the end. Of 2013. Here's the NSX. I don't think that car has ever been out of concept. Oh, here's the Model T. And then we have Ford. Oh, and then this one's awesome. This is the Batmobile. Batman. And then I have photos of the logo, but I'm not gonna, I don't think I'm gonna use that. But if I need them, I know where they are. So now we're up to 2016. We have the Mercedes-Benz. I don't know why I'm taking them at such weird angles. I was like concerned. Oh, I'm still concerned. (2016). Not a good year for camera angles. Back to the Porsche. Yeah, I don't know why. Like 2013, the angles I was taking were awesome. These ones are like weird. They're like, I don't know. They're almost fisheye, but like I don't like the perspective, I guess. I'm getting, it's like really exaggerated. And it's funny because like my photos are really, in general, and I don't know how I do it, it's just my style, but like most of my photos I take out kind of the single point perspective somehow. Like I really compose my shots, but there's very little. I don't know how to say it. Like I compose them and but my images are kind of more flat and composed, kind of like these smart cars. But like this one, it's like, I don't know. It looks kind of cartoonish. Okay, so that was fast. Now we go to this year. Here's car show. And this one was a big production for me because I went in there and I was pushing my grandmother in the wheelchair, which we'll probably see later on. And so I took the VR and 3D photographs first, and then I ran around. Well, it was funny because I did the VR and the 3D photos, and it took me like maybe 15 minutes to do the Honda section, which was pretty small. And I was like, this is gonna take me forever to do the whole car show. So and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like speed up. And so like I was running from place to place to place, and I managed to shoot everything in about an hour for the 3D and VR cameras. And then I went back and I shot and then the next hour and a half I shot on film and digital. So this is the digital. The film is for a different project. I have 8 more rolls of film, and I'm gonna get some more, but I'm shooting as much film as I can now, and then the goal is later I'll develop it in one big batch. I have like 8 rolls of 35mm, and then right now I have like, let's see, 6. Yeah, it's like 12 rolls of medium format. And so eventually the film project will come out. Oh, and so this is the cars I was talking about, the souped up ones. Here's the Mercedes-Benz G-Class. It's raised and everything. This is the X1 by Mercedes-Benz, which is a hybrid. It's electric and gas. And then we have the Jeep here. And then this is the 911. And so with this one, this is with the 50mm lens. And so when we're gonna look at them closer, there is a nice depth of field to all these photos, and I was really excited for that, because usually with the digital, with the 35mm camera I use, most of the lenses are like 2.8 or 3.5. That's the widest the aperture goes. And I don't have the most expensive lenses. Most of the lenses came with like a camera with a kit, and so it's not they're not kit lenses, if that makes sense. Like I have the 18 to 55, that's a kit lens, and then I have 55 through 200. That one's also a kit lens, but then I have a really good 75 through 300mm lens. And that one's, but again, that one starts with an aperture of an f-stop of 4, so that's not good for low light. And then my favorite lens is a 28 through 135, because it's wide angle enough, but then it has a really good zoom. But that one again the f-stop starts at 3.5, and then it goes up to 5.6 once you zoom in all the way. They have the police. And then we have the GTR. More police. So these look a little underexposed, but they're fine. And then this is the Supra. Really happy with how those came out, how the car came out. Shooting 50mm is difficult to do in the car show. As you can see, they're really zoomed in a lot, and it was hard because I would go to take the picture, and I'm used to 28mm, and I'd be too close. Like with this FJ, I'm far from this picture, but it's very telephoto lens. It was very zoomed in, cropped, and so I would have to take like 4 steps farther back than what I would want. And so when you're that far away from the car, nobody thinks you're taking a picture of the car because you're so far away. And so everyone walks in front of you and stuff. So if you're doing like a convention or car shows, I definitely recommend wider angle lenses. Like a 28mm is nice. That's what I usually shoot with. Unless you're like way up high and there's nobody between you and the person. So like maybe you're on the 2nd floor and looking at a stage, then like 50mm or 150mm is fine. But for being on the convention floor, I really recommend like an 18 or 28mm lens. Again, this is the interior of the Supra. Really nice. Here we have the Lexus. So I'm really happy with how it exposed. I didn't do, like usually with these car shows I have to use the camera on manual. I recently started to trust the camera on aperture priority, and so what that means is I choose the aperture and then the camera gets to choose the shutter speed. And so you can tell the camera what you want it to do. Like I tell it, you know what, I know you want to shoot to get it like perfectly illuminated, but I want you to take the photo you think you're gonna take, and make it darker. And so you do that by telling the camera to aim like 4 stops down, and so that's what I did, and it worked. I mean, that's what I've been doing for the past year or so. Is like, okay, everything's overexposed in terms of lighting, like in real life. And so I'm like, you know what, don't even try to get that the way it is. Like, make it darker. And then it works the other way too, where if you know the camera's gonna think something's too dark, you can say, you know what, make it brighter than you would normally shoot. And so that's why I'm saying I'm happy with how these came out, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna trust you, camera, because usually with the car shows and everything, like you have all these reflections and stuff, and that messes with the camera sensor because it thinks, oh, this is super bright. This is super bright, so I have to, overcompensate for that. And so it's like, no, you don't. So I'm going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So now we're getting to this is from 2014. This is the Grand Prix in Belle Isle, which was in Detroit. And let's get back to work. So we went for the time trials. And they let you walk, kind of, I don't know, backstage where they're doing all the work on the cars and everything. So this is before the race started. They're taking the cars, when like the race is about to start, they're sitting up and getting ready. But they're taking the car and taking it to the track and everything. So there's a lot of photos. This might be the last one we go through. I mean, it's kind of a doozy of a section. And like a lot of these are going to be selected because like I've selected these before, and so we're going to be winding these down. Not winding these down. There was significantly more, and so I narrowed it down to these ones, and then we're gonna narrow it down further, but not too much. Yeah, picture this helicopter. And then here I'm playing with motion blur and everything. So I'm slowing down the shutter speed, but because I'm following the car with the lens, and everything else is blurred. But because I'm following the car as it goes, it appears to be, there's no motion blur on the car. Because the car is, technically stationary in the center of the photo. It's just the background that's moving. But then these ones is taken with a really high shutter speed, so the cars are going incredibly faster on these corners. But you can see the motion blur. This isn't depth of field, this is actual motion blur. The motion blur is less, but it does look more still. Oh man, getting excited. And then this is the GT race. Oh, these are the GT race cars. They're getting ready to go next. And it's funny because I'm just walking around and then you can't see it, but the driver's in there. And so he told me, he's like, get in here, take my photo. I was like, okay. It's kind of funny because a lot of people do that to me. I went to this art thing and I had my camera. It was like this art event and everyone was like, oh, take my photo, take my photo. And I mean, it's because a lot of them assume I'm with media and stuff, which is, you know, they're not wrong. You know, the photos are gonna be released, but and so that is always nice when people are like, you know what? And it happens like sometimes when I travel, like when I went to Africa, a lot of the people were like, hey, can you take my photo? I was like, okay. People like to get archived, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. But this is the GT race. And so it's, you know, it's like really high performance, kind of high performance souped up cars. So like you can see here, it's, you know, we have the Mustang souped up. That's the Charger. No, that's not the Charger. That's the Camaro. And then this is the Nissan 350Z. And so there's a wide range. And like this one is the Dodge Viper. So it's kind of, they're all sports cars. But they're like really high-end sports cars. And then they're souped up even further. Like this is a Lamborghini. So there's a huge variety of vehicles. All of a sudden I got quiet. Let's see what else has happened. So Project Aerospace is coming out. I talked about editing videos for that. I'm still going to locations and filming for that. But I have plenty of work to do where it's like I have a mountain of work of post-production for all kinds of stuff. The Milwaukee project is it's still rendering, and it's kind of, I have it on an old computer and it's just rendering. It's gonna take like a week or two. It's rendering 20 episodes and they're all about 30 minutes long. And in 3D, so it's really like rendering 40 episodes. Because it has to do the left camera view and then the right camera view. So I'm in no hurry. Like Quotations has, I mean, it's booked up. It's releasing the Spain videos, not videos. It's the Spain photos, but they're digitally restored. The photos are less than standard definition, and they've been scaled up using some special secret sauce. And so the scaling up process, it worked really well on some photos, and some photos it just did not. But it's about, I think it's 6 episodes, and they're all about 15 minutes each. But those are currently coming out to Quotations. They're up on Patreon a week before it comes publicly to Quotations. So that's there. And then America Series 1 is also coming out, but that's another preview. And so what the preview videos are, they're still animated. It's animated photography, but it's only HD. And so like with America Series 1, which is the landscape all across America, the United States specifically, because America Series 2 is not going to be in the United States. But with America Series 1, there's not only is it going to be in 4K, but there will be a 3D version as well. And so the reason why it's a preview is because it was not quickly. I don't want, that makes it seem like it was done haphazardly, but I didn't use kind of the render engine I usually use. I use iMovie, and so it just allows me to move faster in terms of rendering. I mean, it's technically not faster, but in terms of quality and stuff, but it is a little easier than setting up the render engine to do everything. But the downside is that it's only in HD. It's not in 4K. It's not in 3D. I can't do it in VR. So that's why it's a preview. It's like, here are the photos. Here's a nice soundtrack. And then later, kind of the technical, impressive stuff is going to come. So we're going to have America Series 1. That preview is going to keep coming out. The Spain digital restore is going to continue to come out. This car project is actually going to LCD Productions YouTube channel. It's not going to Quotations. And then I'm working on another preview. After this, we're going to be kind of swapping back and forth. And that's the the Oahu project. So that preview is going to go to Quotations, and it's gonna start once America Series 1 finishes. So that's kind of like the loose schedule. And again, we're going to be working on the car show, and then for LCD Productions, and then there's going to be this Philippines project, which is what I'm setting up now. It's rendering in the background the footage. So there's so much we have to do. But it's nice because a lot of stuff is getting finished and being put kind of in the queue to be public. And so it's like, if I die today, for the next 3 months, things would still be published. So that's a nice feeling. It's like my anxiety levels are going down for a lot of reasons. I'm getting my finances in order. which is good. And what else? I'm just, trying to take care of things a little bit better. I'm like improving what I eat. So we are like almost done with this section. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. So the race is finished. I think this was just time trials. And we're gonna see the race. There's gonna be another race, I think. So we have the jets flying overhead. Man, I forgot about this. This was in 2014. And then the lens I'm using is it was a 70-300 lens. And I might have had a 1.5 teleconverter, and that just multiplies it by 1.5, 150%. So that would make it like at the 300 millimeter focal length, that would make it 450 millimeters. But there is a downside. The image quality goes down with a teleconverter, because it's essentially taking the highest possible quality that your lens can produce an image, and then it cuts it in half because it zooms in, essentially like with a cropping method. So that's not too good. So you don't really want to rely on teleconverters so much. Like, it's better, like if you have well, it's actually funny because I just ordered this lens. But this lens I ordered, it's a 500 millimeter lens, and it's a big one. It has a T mount, and so what that means is, instead of usually what you do is you attach your camera to a tripod, and then the lens goes on the camera. But this lens is so big that if you attached the camera to a tripod, the lens would crack the camera in half, and you can't have the camera hold up the lens. And so what a T-mount is where the lens actually has an attachment to the tripod. So you screw the lens to the tripod, and then the camera hangs on the lens. The lens holds the camera. And so it's essentially balancing the camera on one end and everything. But anyway, so the lens I bought is it's a 500 millimeter lens. You have to use a tripod for it, but it comes with a teleconverter, and so they advertise it like, oh, it's a 500 millimeter, or you can have it be 1,000 millimeters. And so it's kind of like, you would want to only use it as a 500 millimeter. You don't want to rely on the teleconverter to make it 1,000 millimeters lens. I mean, like, if you really need it for the shot, then do it. It's better to use a teleconverter than to do a digital crop, Uh, do, 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 do. I don't know who these people are. Who are you? America. So there, I'm playing with the motion blur again. So yeah, this is the last section we'll be doing. I'm getting tired. It's 1:13 in the morning. You know, there's always something. The other night, I was kept awake. We were at the hotel. And it was my mom, my grandmother, and I sharing a room. And old people don't really need to sleep, and it's difficult for them to sleep at night. And then my grandmother has Alzheimer's, so she lays in bed and just kind of rubs her hands together like all night long, and it keeps everyone awake because it's really loud. And then she kind of shakes her head on the pillow, and it's like, go to sleep. And so then you keep, catching her, trying to crawl out the bed, and we're like, we'll help you, just tell us what you want. And so that happened like all night. And so I was awake from I went to bed at 12, and then I woke up at 3 and could never go back to sleep. So that was 2 days ago. And then last night, there was a lot of sounds in our neighborhood that were keeping me up. And so then last night, I finally was able to sleep in. But I woke up early because I had to go to the restroom, and I was like, no, I just want to sleep in. So that's why I'm tired. I'm trying to be better to my body and accept being tired instead of having to constantly I can't even say it, constantly caffeinate myself. I'm trying to keep better hours and not stay up till 4 a.m. anymore. Things like that. But the big thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to eat on time. So, I'm forcing myself to actually eat 3 meals a day. Usually what I do is I have lunch and then dinner, but now I need breakfast. I feel when I eat full, complete protein and complete meals, I just feel better. And when I don't, I eat, a bagel, and then I notice I get grumpy and my blood sugar crashes a lot faster. So I'm trying to eat a lot more healthy things like oatmeal, which is supposed to be really good for blood sugar. And then and things like that. So we'll see. And it's funny because when I eat, when I force myself to eat more often, like I'm a big guy, but I'm not skinny by any means. But when I do eat 3 meals, a day, my weight always goes down. And it's like, what? Seriously? And so, but when I do eat 3 meals a day, it's more healthy food. Let's see. I'm getting close to the end. Do. What else? No, that's pretty funny. So that was it. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for coming out. I'm going to be publishing these creative streams faster. Usually they trickle out slowly to the Create project on Photations, but tomorrow I should be it should be up. And I'll share that on social media, on Thumbs United and everything. So I want to thank everyone for coming out. Tomorrow we should be doing Mass Effect Andromeda. That will be episode 4. And we're going to try to, not 100% the game, but we're going to finish the story and as many side missions as possible. So I'm slowly working up the ability to do a 3-hour live stream. But currently the Mass Effect Andromeda Let's Plays are around 2 hours to 2 hours and a half. And so that's for tomorrow. And then Wednesday is another creative stream. And we'll see if I'm going to do more cars or something else. It'll probably be more of the car project. And then Thursday again is going to be more Mass Effect. It's the video game live stream. And then Friday is creative again. And we'll see what happens on the weekend. I would like to do more creative streams on the weekend. But I think I might have something to do this weekend. So we'll see. But I want to thank everyone for coming out. And I'll see everyone tomorrow for Mass Effect. Bye-bye.